morning, everybody. My name is Roberto Valente from University of Aveiro, and I'm only part of the big group. Carla is here, Barbara, Julia, not already in the team. So this is a joint work within our Department of Mechanical Engineering, together with our rectory and the Vice Rectory for Sustainability also. So I'm now sharing the overview and the beginning web page of the Greening Toolbox. So you will see that all the aspects, the website and the platforms are very clean, very straightforward. I will focus on a guided tour, a small guided tour, 5 minutes of your time regarding the self-assessment toolkit. So the idea, as Verena mentioned, is above all, using the self-assessment toolkit is to provide ways of discussion, no benchmark associated to that, and use it as a decision, helping in the decision-making process within department, faculties, and the universities themselves. So the green assessment dimensions are 6, as already mentioned. We have here the organizational management, operations, education and curricula, research, development and innovation, community and outreach, assessment, reporting, and evaluation. They are created and organized in a way that they can be used on a more ground level, associated with a bachelor, master, PhD course involving professors, students, and the non-academic staff, or they can be used together within a department or faculty, or even higher levels of decision. So, for instance, this is completely flexible. I can go through all the 6 dimensions in a successive order, or I can just click and choose one of the dimensions that I want to focus on to start with. For instance, if I want to start with education and curricular, I just simple access it, and you see that we have a number of statements regarding education and curricula. Those statements were worked on a research-based process involving a very big literature survey, and then focusing a convergent phase, focusing on these statements that are appearing here. Each statement has a definition, what we are talking about, some explanation, and also some hints on how to score the perception of the respondent to each statement. So we have here a scale from 1 to 5, very straightforward also, and I can start filling each statement with my own perception. I can do this individually as part of a group, or I can do it in a team-based exercise, promoting discussion, promoting reflection about in this case, engineer education and curricular process. So if I proceed on answering each statement, reflecting my perception about these items here, I can proceed going on and using this as a matter of discussion, and I can either continue to the full assessment process, or I can submit this assessment individually. So I can use 1 up to 6 dimensions altogether. This can be in a very flexible manner, tailored to different target groups, to different workshops, and we can cover all the dimensions altogether. We can focus on a couple of them, and then the results are stored as we submit the assessment, and we can see of course the average of each results, or the group results. In this case, the group is only 1 sample, myself, and we can proceed on this way. We can get measurement of the answers. The platform also gives you what are the dimensions that are missing if you want to complete the survey, the exercise. And this part here, the dimensions breakdown, will also give a hint on the next stage of the platform, where we want to go to some recommended training and recommended case studies that we will see in minutes. So the idea is to provide a self-reflection tool that can be used no matter the dimension of the group, no matter the dimension of the institutional group, no matter the structure of the higher education institution itself. It's completely flexible, can be scaled up to different number of answers, different number of dimensions, combined or not. So I can also just have a glimpse. The structure of the other dimensions are exactly the same. Very clear texts, some hints on how to evaluate and to score the dimensions that we are presenting. And the idea is, above all, once again, to promote reflection, to promote awareness of the respondents to these matters, and step by step include these topics. If you do this exercise for instance in January, and then you repeat the exercise 6 months after, to compare the evolution of the perceptions and then make an assessment of your own measurements within the institutions, strategic decisions, actions, how they are perceived from your colleagues from the other part of the institution. And in this way, it is also a continuous improvement tool also for your decision process. So in a nutshell, I can go here again in the Greening Toolbox starting page, and I will pass to my colleagues for the next resources. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. Then I would give over to our colleague from the MTU HEIs, Rebecca, to present the green training materials.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rebecca Robinson, and I am the leader of Work Package 3, which is the green training tool on the GET-AHED platform. And I will bring you through that training. Can you see my slides? You can. Perfect. Okay. Is it, sorry, it's not showing up on my screen that it's highlighted for sharing. Can you see the actual GET-AHED?
We can see it, yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Toolbox. Oh, okay, that's great. Thank you. So this is the green training resource for the green transition. And in here it houses the green training for the GET-AHED project. So when you first log on, you can see all the training material that is housed here. And the training material is based on the 6 core pillars for capacity building taken from the European Commission's technical support for implementing the European Green Deal. And there's 6 pillars within that, they being centered around climate action, the environment, the circular economy, skills education and training, greening public and private finances, the just transition, and research and innovation. So you're presented with all the training material initially upfront. However, they are categorized here on the left. So these first set of categories are linked to the Work Package 2 that Robert has just presented there. So these are the dimensions of the self-assessment tool. So you can filter the training to have a look at these different categories. So if we take, for example, just click on operations, the training it changes to show you the relevant training material that is relevant for operations with relation to the green transition and the European Green Deal. Similarly, if you want to have, again, just a look at operations, but want to filter it down even more and just maybe have a look at things that refer to the just transition, you can type in just here and you can see what is the just transition, case studies surrounding it, a toolkit, and additional resources. So it filters it down even further. If we go on to the next filterable category, that's the duration. So you can have a look at I suppose they're micro learning areas. So micro learning areas that will take no more than 20 minutes to have a look at. So if, for example, we just go into this one, which is alignment of skills, education and training within the European Green Deal objective, we can have a look and see that it will be 20 minutes long and the content there is loading, and we can go through the content, which is nicely presented with some pictures, and we can continue on to read a little bit more about the skills, education and training. There's some objectives here. And on the left-hand side, we can skip through the different areas of that micro-learning area, and we can jump onto some quiz questions at the end to test your knowledge. So if I go back to our categories here on the left-hand side, we can also filter the training material by the audience. So obviously the HEI management, students and staff will need to be presented with different training material. So when we, for example, have a look at HEI leadership, they will mostly be concerned maybe around, for example, the role of climate action at an educational, institutional level. This is the first training area here we're presented with on the top, because they're concerned with the institution. However, if we go and click students, that changes, and we're presented with training material that's specific for students. And as we can see here, the role of climate change and emissions reduction at an individual level. So what students can do themselves at an individual level. Again, this is a filterable category. So if I'm a student here, I'm looking at all the training material here for all the different training areas, but I just want to have a look maybe at what I can do in the area of the just transition. So here for students, it just simply explains to them within this module here what the just transition is. You can see it's 30 minutes long. And if I want to be presented, say, with case studies in that area, I can have a look maybe at the assessment, or if I want to have a look at tools and case studies relating to the just transition, I can have a look in here in the category on the left, what it is, case studies and toolkits and additional resources on the just transition. So that is a very quick overview of the training material. I'd be happy to take any questions that you have at the end, because I know we're restricted on time. So thank you very much for your time, and I will pass on to my colleagues now at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. And now we ask Elias to present the green case studies.
Yeah, thanks, Lorena. I will just quickly share my screen. And you should be able to see that now. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So my name is Elias Eder. I am from the Vorarlberg University of Applied Sciences in Austria. And I was co-responsible for work package 4 together with Markus and Beate, who are both also present today. And this work package was all about gathering information and collecting case studies that aim at improving sustainable operations in HEIs. And in particular, they should all somehow be related to energy systems or the energy consumption of the HEI. So again, starting from the home screen, I can navigate to the case studies from the top menu or just select them down here. And as Robert has previously said, the typical workflow would be to do a self-assessment first and then be recommended certain training resources or case studies to continue on. If we navigate then to the case studies, we first see an introduction followed by a menu of the available case studies, same as Rebecca has previously shown. These case studies can be filtered regarding category or audience. I will not go so much into the filtering. right now because Rebecca has already told you about them. I would rather say, how did we encounter these case studies? We conducted a systematic survey, not only among us and our associate partners, but also beyond that, on the extended network, basically. Received approximately 30 to 35 case studies, which we then filtered regarding various criteria, because we were focusing more on quality as opposed to having a lot of case studies that were not presented in a nice way. We conducted a peer review process to narrow down the 30 case studies that we had to 13 case studies that are now presented in 7 interactive formats. And the gap analysis showed us that we wanted to present them in an easy way, to be very informative, but at the same time to have an appealing character. And I will now show you one example to give you a bit more information on that. This is the Plant the Future initiative that was founded in 2018 from a youth association in Portugal and the University of Aveiro. And it is basically a tree planting initiative. When you click on this case study, you first get an introductory text again, and also a quote that says, if you have already completed this self-assessment, then you get a personalized recommendation, just as a reminder for this functionality. Here then starts the actual case study that you are basically looking into, and you get some meta information first. How long is this course going to take? How many sections is it comprised of? And who would be an appropriate contact person if you have any further questions on it? There are also learning objectives. What is basically your takeaway from this? How can you implement it? What could be the impact of it? And everything presented in a very clean manner, basically. Yeah. This is also an important aspect. For all of these interactive formats, we also created AI-based video summaries that have a voiceover. And I will just start it real quick so that you can see the layout. There are always interactive elements and basically a voice explaining what this case study is all about, and yeah, a step-by-step approach showing how can you realize this case study. This is basically a shortcut. If you don't have a lot of time, you still want to know in a nutshell what this case study is about, you can watch this video. Otherwise, there is the possibility to go through it in detail. For this case study, for example, there was already a promotion video which we just embedded in there. Then there are, like I said, interactive elements. You can see the various stages that you are going through, accompanied by a timeline. And we'll just skip through this real quickly. To recap, you can click through the stages again, and then come some reflection tasks. You can have a look, what kind of prerequisites do you need to have in order to implement this measure, which is quite important because people tend to get discouraged if they don't have something in place. You can just check, what do I need to have to do this at my institution? And then basically you get encouraging words. You're well on your way, or you need to do a bit better. You need to do this and that. Finally, you also have a risk assessment, what challenges might be occurring. And again, for an audience not to get discouraged by this, for every problem there is a solution. So you get basically a guide. How can you circumvent this challenge? How can you still implement this measure? And I guess that wraps it up. Also, here are some cool numbers from the original Plant the Future initiative from Portugal, showing, okay, they planted more than 6,000 trees. So actually, you can have a very significant impact by creating measures such as these. Final words from my side. I think we have a good variety here of case studies, from very simple measures that have great effect to a bit more community-based approaches, sustainability days whatsoever. So I think we're quite set in this way. And yeah, I think that wraps it up. If you are at the end of a case study, you can navigate back and do the whole thing again. Yeah. So I would now give back to Verena. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elias. And thank you very much again to all three colleagues for showing the tools on the platform.